Life responds to our words, our thoughts, and the pictures we hold in the secret chambers of the mind. The invisible laws of the universe are forever listening, arranging, and reflecting back to us the substance of our beliefs. Many walk through the world with a hidden conviction that money is a stranger, an adversary, or a fleeting guest who never lingers long. They chase after it, they worry about it, and they fear its absence. But imagine, for just a moment, that money was not a capricious shadow slipping through your fingers, but a loyal and trusted companion, faithful, joyous, and kind. What if money was your friend? A friend does not betray, a friend does not abandon, a friend does not withhold. A true friend delights in your company and finds ways to bless you. If money were your friend, would you not welcome it at your table? Would you not speak of it with respect, gratitude, and warmth? Yet so many speak of money as though it were a foe, harsh words of lack, resentment, or fear. The tongue sets the course, and by calling money difficult, elusive, or scarce, one drives it away as surely as a cold tone sends a friend walking out the door. There is a law of vibration that governs all things seen and unseen. Every thought sends out a note, every word a command, every feeling a magnet drawing its like unto itself. To regard money as hostile or burdensome is to strike a discordant note in the great symphony of life, and money, like any sensitive being, withdraws from inharmony. But when you begin to see money as a glad and faithful ally, your vibration rises into harmony with abundance. You do not chase, you attract. You do not plead, you receive. Consider the child who trusts his playmate to return again tomorrow. He does not spend the night in fear, wringing his hands and whispering, "Perhaps he will never come back." He rests in certainty that joy will arrive again with the morning sun. So must you look upon money. Speak to it as a friend. I am glad to see you. I bless your comings and your goings. I know you return multiplied, carrying gifts of good for me and for all whom you touch. For money, like any true friend, responds to love, trust, and honor. The invisible supply is limitless. It is the river of substance flowing beneath all appearances, waiting for recognition, waiting for your word to draw it forth. Money is but one of its forms, one of its expressions, as natural as sunlight, as ordinary as the air you breathe. The moment you cease to regard it as scarce, it ceases to be scarce for you. The moment you cease to fear it, it ceases to flee. And in this new vision, money ceases to be a master or a burden, and becomes instead what it was always meant to be: a companion on the journey, a helper in your purpose, a friend who delights to see you prosper. To see money as a loyal companion is to change the very vibration of your life. Imagine a faithful friend who walks beside you, never wavering, never turning away, always ready to serve, to support, to bring comfort and joy. This friend is not fickle, not scarce, not burdened with suspicion or judgment. Money, in truth, is meant to be just such a companion. It is not an adversary to be fought, nor a thief to be feared, nor a fleeting visitor to be anxiously clutched. It is energy in form, moving as a current through the channels of life, loyal to the one who calls it with love rather than fear. When people fear money, they set themselves against its flow. They speak of it as though it were cruel or difficult, as though money slips away from them or hides in secret places. This is like accusing a true friend of betrayal, when that friend is only waiting for a warmer welcome. Money, like all forms of energy, responds to recognition and respect. If you whisper to it, "You are my friend, you are welcome here, I trust you, I honor you," it comes and lingers. It stays and multiplies, for it has found a heart that sees it rightly. A loyal companion does not abandon you in your hour of need. Money, too, when treated with trust, shows up at the right time, in the right way, through unexpected doors. The mistake so many make is to believe that money has a will of its own to torment them, that it disappears without reason, that it refuses to serve. Yet no loyal companion behaves this way. The truth is, it mirrors the tone of the relationship. If it is treated with suspicion, it reflects suspicion. If it is feared, it appears fleeting. But if it is embraced as a friend, it becomes steadfast, dependable, and full of generosity. Think of the way you treat those you love. You do not speak harshly of them. You do not call them names. You do not imagine them plotting against you. Instead, you speak with affection, you expect their company, you delight in their presence. To see money in the same light is to transform your world. Instead of saying, money is hard to come by, you might say, money is my friend, it comes easily and joyfully. Instead of declaring, money never stays, you may affirm, money is loyal, it stays by my side, it supports me in all good works. In this way, the subconscious mind is trained to receive money as a constant ally, and the outer world reflects that belief with faithful results. A loyal friend also delights in your happiness. Money desires to circulate, to be used for good, to bless and to create. When locked away with fear, when clutched tightly in doubt, it stagnates like water in a sealed jar. But when treated as a joyful friend, it flows in and out with ease. Always returning, always bringing more. Just as a friend would rather share laughter than endure suspicion, money would rather serve joy than hide in shadows of fear. To trust its loyalty is to release it gladly, knowing it returns multiplied, because loyalty does not abandon. Many imagine loyalty as rare in the realm of money, because they have experienced loss, scarcity, or sudden lack. Yet these experiences do not prove that money is unfaithful. They prove only the beliefs that were held in the heart at the time. A loyal companion cannot stay where it is constantly insulted or mistrusted. Money, as energy, moves according to the law of consciousness. The moment you shift your vision, the moment you begin to honor it as loyal, it reappears, it strengthens its presence. It proves itself as surely as the sun proves its light when clouds roll away. Consider a person who has always distrusted friendships. They expect betrayal, so they keep their guard high, their words sharp, their trust withheld. Even the most faithful friend may eventually drift away under such treatment. Now imagine someone who believes in the loyalty of friendship. They open their heart, they speak with kindness, they expect good, and in turn they attract friends who stay and prove themselves. So it is with money. The stance of the heart determines the relationship. Money itself has no malice, it only answers to the vibration you send forth. A loyal companion also inspires confidence. When you walk beside a true friend, you feel secure, assured, uplifted. Money, when welcomed as a friend, brings the same security. It allows you to step boldly, to pursue your vision, to create without fear. Instead of wondering if it will vanish, you know it stands with you. This knowing frees you from anxious grasping and opens the door for more to arrive, for loyalty breeds loyalty, and trust breeds trust. To see money as a loyal companion is also to release the idea of struggle. A friend does not make you fight for their company. They do not force you to prove yourself over and over. They stand by you simply because they choose to, because the bond of trust is enough. So it is with money. The belief that one must always toil, strive, or plead for it is the very belief that keeps it distant. But to rest in its loyalty is to know that it arrives by right, by the natural law of supply, without endless strain. Picture walking into your home, and money waiting there as a friend would wait, glad to see you, eager to share in your joys and endeavors. Picture it walking beside you into every experience, offering its hand in times of creation, whispering reassurance in moments of need, standing steadfast when challenges arise. This vision is not fantasy, it is the truth of what money is when seen rightly. The outer world always reflects the inner picture. When you paint money as a companion in your inner world, it manifests as companionship in your outer one. Money as a loyal companion is a truth waiting to be claimed. It requires only that you stop calling it an enemy, that you stop fearing its absence, that you stop accusing it of betrayal. Like a friend, it longs for harmony, for welcome, for appreciation. The moment you see it with eyes of love, it responds with loyalty beyond your expectation, proving itself not as an adversary, but as one of life's most faithful allies. Every thought you hold and every word you speak becomes a seed planted in the soil of your life. The soil is always fertile, it never refuses to grow. It only brings forth what is planted. If words are charged with fear, with doubt, with complaint, the harvest will be lack and struggle. If words are filled with gratitude, expectancy, and truth, the harvest will be abundance, ease, and joy. The unseen realm listens without judgment. It does not question whether you desire what you say. It simply reflects it back to you with unwavering accuracy. To understand this is to realize that the tongue is not a careless instrument, but the brush that paints the picture of your financial world. How many times have people spoken of money as though it were a tormentor? Money is so hard to get. There's never enough. It slips through my fingers. Each phrase spoken in jest or habit is a decree. And the invisible law answers, so be it. These words become chains around the flow of abundance. For the universe cannot contradict the command of the heart and the tongue. It has been said that life and death are in the power of the tongue, and when applied to finances, this truth is clear. Words of lack give life to lack, words of sufficiency give life to sufficiency. Words of prosperity summon prosperity itself. Thoughts are even more subtle than words, for they are the silent conversations carried on all day within the secret chambers of the mind. The thought repeated becomes belief, and belief crystallizes into form. A person may outwardly declare, "I am prosperous," but if inwardly they carry the thought, "I am broke," "I never have enough," "I am worried," the deeper vibration rules, and life reflects the hidden thought rather than the spoken mask. The subconscious accepts every impression as fact, whether spoken aloud or whispered silently, and it is from this storehouse that experiences are drawn. When a man or woman begins to watch their words, to guard their thoughts, they begin the work of shaping their financial reality. Instead of saying, "I cannot afford this," they may say, "Money is flowing to me in perfect ways." Instead of thinking, "I will never be free of debt," they may hold the thought, "Every obligation is met with ease. All channels of supply are open to me." Such statements are not empty wishes, they are seeds planted deliberately, seeds charged with power, which in due season bring forth after their kind. There is no such thing as an idle word. Each word has a vibration, a color, a form in the unseen. When multiplied by repetition, words create a mold into which substance pours. This is why complaint strengthens struggle and gratitude multiplies blessing. To say, "Thank you," for even the smallest coin is to invite more. For gratitude is a magnet, drawing to it multiplied expressions of that which it praises. To complain over bills is to enlarge them in experience, but to bless them as evidence of supply is to open the way for supply to grow. Thoughts are like messengers sent into the unseen. A thought of poverty goes forth and returns with evidence of poverty. A thought of abundance goes forth and returns with opportunities, ideas, and channels through which abundance may appear. When these thoughts are clothed in words, they take on greater strength, for the spoken word vibrates outward, reaching further into the substance of life. Words are the decree of kings, and every individual is a king or queen over their own realm of supply. Consider the child who hears over and over again, "We cannot afford this." Money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy. These words, repeated in the formative years, become seeds planted in fertile ground. They grow into beliefs of lack, distrust of wealth, and an unconscious rejection of abundance. Unless these thoughts and words are replaced with new ones, the harvest continues the same, no matter how much the person labors. This is why two people may work equally hard, yet one prospers and the other struggles. The difference lies not in the outer effort, but in the inner decree. Every fortune and every famine begins first as a thought. Before wealth appears in the bank, it exists in the unseen as an idea, a belief, a word spoken with conviction. Before lack manifests as unpaid bills, it exists in the unseen as worried doubt, or repeated words of fear. Change the seed, and the harvest must change. Speak of money as faithful, think of it as abundant, see it as flowing freely. And life has no choice but to reflect that picture. When words are aligned with truth, they carry a power that no outer condition can resist. You may look at an empty purse and declare, "This purse is filled with abundance. It overflows with supply." And though the purse appears empty, the word spoken plants a seed in the unseen. In due season, opportunities arise, unexpected channels open, and the purse indeed fills. But if you look at the empty purse and say, "I am broke, I never have enough," you have sealed that purse against supply, for you have decreed lack, and lack must obey. The imagination is the workshop of thought. When the imagination paints pictures of debt, of poverty, of fear, those pictures impress themselves upon the subconscious, and life arranges itself accordingly. But when imagination paints pictures of plenty, of bills paid with ease, of money flowing joyfully, of prosperity surrounding you, then those pictures become blueprints which the unseen substance rushes to fill. Words reinforce these pictures, giving them color and sound, setting them into motion with greater strength. Even silence carries thought. The inner dialogue, the unspoken conversation, is constantly shaping reality. If the silence is filled with fear, the results are fearful. If it is filled with trust and expectancy, the results are abundant. This is why meditation upon truth, the repetition of affirmations, and the constant redirection of thought are powerful tools. They are not mere exercises, they are acts of creation, planting seeds in the garden of life. The great law never fails. As surely as the farmer reaps what he sows, the individual reaps what he thinks and speaks. It may not appear at once, for seeds require time to sprout. But appear it must. The one who watches their thoughts and guards their words becomes the master of their financial destiny. They cease to be victims of chance and become deliberate creators of abundance. There is a great law that governs all things, seen and unseen. A law that cannot be broken, a law that does not waver. It is the law of harmony, and within it lies the secret of attracting abundance. Everything in the universe moves by vibration, and each vibration seeks its own. Harmony is the alignment of your inner vibration with the eternal rhythm of supply. Gratitude is the song that sets this vibration ringing clearly through the unseen, calling to it all that matches its note. When you live in harmony and speak in gratitude, you tune yourself to abundance as surely as a tuning fork summons its perfect pitch. When one is out of harmony, there is struggle. When one is in harmony, there is flow. A life filled with complaint, resentment, and fear is out of harmony with abundance, for abundance cannot dwell where discord is given rule. Discord repels supply as a harsh sound repels the ear. But a life filled with gratitude, trust, and joy hums with the very vibration of plenty, and plenty rushes to dwell where its own note is played. To attract abundance, you do not need to beg or plead. You need only to strike the note of harmony and give thanks in advance for the supply that is already yours in the unseen. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to hidden treasure. When you give thanks for what you already hold, you announce to the universe that you are in harmony with good, that you recognize the flow, that you are ready to receive more. To bless the coin in your hand is to open the way for greater coins to come. To give thanks for the meal before you is to invite a banquet tomorrow. The one who complains over little shuts the gate to greater things, but the one who blesses the little multiplies it without effort. For gratitude is multiplication made visible. Harmony is not only in words, it is in the secret place of the heart. A man may speak words of thanks, but if within he harbors envy, bitterness, or fear, the vibration is mixed, and the harvest will be confused. True harmony is the alignment of thought, word, and feeling. When thought rests in trust, when words flow with gratitude, when feeling is one of peace and joy, then the whole being is in tune, and the song it sings is irresistible to abundance. The universe rushes to fill the cup that is lifted in harmony. Consider the one who receives a bill and groans, saying, "More debt, more burden, how shall I pay?" Such words are discordant notes, and they draw to themselves more lack, more struggle, more debt. Now consider the one who receives the same bill and says, "I bless this bill. It represents value received, and I give thanks that it is easily met by the flow of supply." This one has struck the note of harmony, for they see even obligation as part of the rhythm of life, and they give thanks in advance for its payment. To such a one, The law responds with provision, channels open, and abundance flows. Gratitude is not reserved for great events, it is a habit, a constant state of recognition. To wake in the morning and say, I give thanks for this day, I give thanks for the breath in my body, I give thanks for the opportunities that await me, is to begin the day in harmony. That vibration sets the tone for all that follows. The person who begins with complaint sets a tone of discord, and all through the day, discord answers back. Life is an echo chamber, and gratitude ensures that the echo is sweet. Harmony is also found in giving. When you give with a cheerful heart, you align with the universal law of circulation. Money, like energy, must flow. To hoard it in fear is to dam the river, to block its song. But to release it in joy is to keep the river flowing, and the current returns with multiplied force. Giving with resentment creates discord, but giving with gladness creates harmony, and harmony is the magnet of abundance. Even a small gift given in love and gratitude sets in motion a vibration that cannot fail to return, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Abundance is not something to be forced into your life, it is something to be welcomed. Harmony and gratitude are the welcome mats you lay at the door of supply. When you resist life, when you curse the small, when you brood over what is lacking, you slam the door shut. But when you bless life, when you rejoice over the little, when you give thanks for unseen good as though it were already visible, the door opens wide, and abundance enters. The law is exact, it withholds nothing. It only mirrors back what you put forth. Even the body teaches this truth. A body in harmony with itself, a body that rests in peace, thrives, heals, and grows strong. A body filled with tension, resentment, and discord suffers, weakens, and decays. So too with finances. A financial life in harmony, filled with gratitude and trust, attracts opportunities, ideas, and flow. A financial life filled with fear and complaint closes doors and breeds stagnation. The outer is only the mirror of the inner, and the mirror never lies. Gratitude is not only for what you see, but for what is unseen. To give thanks for money already on the way, though it has not yet appeared, is to bring it closer, for gratitude is the proof of faith, and faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. To say, I give thanks that all my needs are met, I give thanks for the money now on its way, I give thanks that the river of supply never runs dry, is to call forth abundance with irresistible power. Life responds to gratitude as surely as a seed responds to sunlight. When harmony rules within, abundance becomes natural. It does not strain. It does not delay, it does not falter. It flows like music, like a river, like the seasons. Gratitude oils the gears of this flow, preventing friction, preventing blockage. Those who live in harmony and gratitude find themselves guided into opportunities, led into right places, surrounded by help, uplifted by unseen hands. They do not chase abundance, abundance seeks them, for they have tuned themselves to its eternal note. There is a supply that exists beyond what the eyes can see, a boundless river of substance, invisible to human sight, but more real than the coins and bills in your hand. This supply is the source from which all visible wealth springs, the fountain behind every channel, the storehouse from which every purse is filled. To trust in this invisible supply is to rest in the certainty that no matter what appearances may say, provision is already assured. The outer world may show lack, but the inner reality is abundance. The moment you acknowledge this truth and trust in its flow, the outer begins to shift, and what was unseen becomes visible in forms that meet your need. Most live chained to appearances, believing only in what they can count, measure, or hold. If the purse is empty, they believe supply has failed. If the work ends, they believe the channel is closed. If the account is low, they fall into fear. But the purse, the work, the account are only channels, they are not the source. Channels come and go, but the supply remains. It is invisible, inexhaustible, and eternal. To trust in the invisible supply is to rise above fear of appearances, to know that when one door closes, another opens, for the source is not bound by any single channel. The invisible supply is limitless. It is not rationed, it is not scarce. It does not diminish because many draw upon it. Just as the sun does not withhold its rays when countless flowers turn toward it, so the supply does not lessen when countless lives receive from it. It flows without end, without measure, without favoritism. Those who expect little draw little, those who expect much draw much. Not because the supply is limited, but because each life opens its own cup to receive, and the law fills it to the brim. Trust enlarges the cup, fear makes it small. To live in trust is to open wide the gates of reception. Trust is not blind hoping, it is inner knowing. It is the calm assurance that even if the outer field looks barren, the harvest is already growing unseen. The farmer does not panic when he sees bare soil after planting seeds. He knows the life within the seed is at work though hidden from sight. So must you know that supply is at work though unseen. When you declare, "All my needs are met through the invisible supply," you affirm the life of the seed. The harvest may not yet show above ground, but beneath the surface it is already unfolding, already pressing forward to meet you. Fear is the great thief of supply. Fear says, "I cannot see it, therefore it is not there." Fear clutches, hoards, and resists, and in so doing blocks the very flow it longs to secure. Trust releases, opens, and allows, and by allowing it draws abundance nearer. Imagine a hand clenched tight in fear of losing a coin. That hand cannot receive another, for it is closed. But imagine a hand open in trust, gladly releasing the coin in circulation. That hand is free to receive, and the invisible supply fills it again and again. When you trust the invisible supply, you cease to chase after money in desperation. You no longer cling to one job, one client, one channel, as though it were your lifeline. You know the channel is but one of many, and the supply itself is endless. You can bless the channel when it changes, you can bless the flow when it shifts, for you know the river has no end and cannot run dry. The one who trusts does not despair at closed doors, for he knows that beyond every closed door is a greater opening, and behind every ending is a richer beginning. Trust in the invisible supply also means speaking as though it were already present. When you declare, "Money is on its way, abundance surrounds me, supply flows to me in perfect ways," you are aligning your words with the truth of the unseen. These words carry power, for they announce your trust. They proclaim harmony with the flow. To say, "I have nothing, I am poor, there is no way," is to cut yourself off from the river, to deny the source that is always giving. But to affirm, "I live in an abundant universe, my needs are already met. The invisible supply provides all," is to place yourself in the stream, and the current carries you without effort. The invisible supply does not work by chance, it is governed by law. The law responds to belief, and belief is strengthened by trust. Those who believe only in what they see limit themselves to appearances, and appearances shift like shadows. But those who believe in the unseen source draw upon the eternal, and the eternal cannot fail. To trust is to stand firm when appearances shout lack, to hold to the unseen when the outer seems empty, to know that provision is already unfolding beyond sight. There is no limit to the forms the invisible supply can take. It may come as money, as opportunity, as ideas, as help from unexpected places, as gifts, as favor, as doors that swing open without warning. To trust is to release the demand that it must come through one channel, one form, one timing. Trust knows that the source is infinite in creativity, infinite in channels, infinite in timing. The answer may come from a place you never imagined, but it will come, for the invisible supply cannot fail. Many have experienced the miracle of sudden provision when trust replaced fear. At the last moment, when all seemed lost, a way opened, a gift arrived, a chance appeared. This was not chance. It was the invisible supply flowing into form. The same supply that brought that provision is present always, not only in crisis but in every moment. To trust it daily is to live in ease rather than strain, to know that you walk in a universe that delights to provide. Trust in the invisible supply is freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from worry, freedom from clutching and striving. It allows you to move through life with calm assurance, knowing that you are supported by an endless river that cannot be exhausted. This trust lifts the burden from your shoulders and replaces it with peace, for you no longer look to men, to jobs, to accounts as your source, but to the invisible flow behind them all. Money, like every form of energy, responds to the vibration with which it is approached. To treat money with suspicion or disdain is to repel it. To treat it with fear is to make it flee. But to treat money with respect, with love, and with honor is to establish a bond of trust that cannot be broken. Money is not meant to be scorned, nor worshipped, nor feared. It is to be regarded as a loyal helper, a sacred instrument of good, a symbol of the infinite supply flowing through your life. The way you speak of money, the way you handle it, the way you feel toward it, all reveal the relationship you hold with it, and that relationship is mirrored back to you in your experience of financial flow. Respect is the first step. Many people handle money carelessly, crumpling it into pockets, tossing it about, or speaking of it in harsh tones. It is filthy, it is never enough. It is the root of all trouble. Such treatment creates a vibration of disrespect, and what is disrespected cannot linger. Respecting money means recognizing its role as a servant of good, treating it with order and appreciation, seeing it as valuable not only for what it can buy, but for the flow of supply it represents. When you place bills neatly in your wallet, when you keep accounts in order, when you pause to bless each coin that comes into your hand, you are showing respect to money, and respect calls forth more to respect. Love is the second step. To love money is not to covet it, nor to place it above all else, but to hold it with warmth and appreciation, as you would a faithful friend. Love sees money as a channel of blessing, a means to create joy, to support life, to serve others, to expand good. When you love money rightly, you release the belief that it is tainted or dangerous. You see it instead as energy clothed in form, waiting to be directed by you into channels of good. To say, "I love money and the good it brings," is to call it joyfully into your life. Money, like any being, responds to love. When it is welcomed with gladness, it multiplies. When it is treated with coldness, it withers. Honor is the highest step. To honor money is to place it within its true order, as servant, never master. You honor money by using it wisely, by circulating it with consciousness, by directing it toward purposes that uplift, heal, and expand. You honor it by refusing to squander it in bitterness or greed, by blessing it as it flows in and out, by recognizing that each dollar carries a vibration and will return to you bearing the fruit of the intention with which it was sent. To honor money is to acknowledge it as part of the sacred flow of life, to treat it as a gift from the infinite supply, to remember always that it is not the source itself but the evidence of the source. When money is treated with respect, love, and honor, it ceases to be a source of anxiety and becomes a partner in your purpose. It arrives gladly, it stays faithfully, it circulates joyfully. Consider the difference between a house where guests are insulted, ignored, or feared, and a house where guests are honored, cherished, and welcomed. In the first, few guests return. In the second, guests linger and invite others to join. So it is with money. If you scorn it, it departs. If you honor it, it abides. Think of the words you use when speaking of money. Do you say, "I never have enough, money slips through my hands"? Money is a curse. These words are blows struck against it. Or do you say, "I bless money, I welcome it, it is my friend, it serves me and I use it for good"? These words are caresses that draw it near. Every phrase spoken is an invitation or a dismissal. Respect, love, and honor are spoken first in words, and words become magnets that draw the very essence of money into your experience. The same is true of thought. Many harbor resentment toward the wealthy, envy toward those who seem to have more, bitterness toward money itself. Such thoughts poison the relationship, for one cannot attract what one secretly resents. To love money rightly is to rejoice in the abundance of others, to give thanks that the universe is so rich that it can supply all, to release jealousy and see only inspiration. What you bless, blesses you. What you curse, curses you. When you honor the wealth of others, you open the door for wealth to honor you. Respect also shows itself in how money is used. Carelessness in spending, Wastefulness born of indifference reflects a lack of respect. On the other hand, stinginess born of fear also shows dishonor, for it treats money as a tyrant to be obeyed rather than a servant to be directed. True respect is balance, using money wisely, joyfully, and without fear. Each dollar is sent forth as a messenger, and when it is sent with blessing, it returns with blessing multiplied. When it is sent with fear or bitterness, it returns with more of the same. To honor money is to understand its sacred circulation. Money is never meant to stagnate. Just as the blood in the body must circulate to bring life, so money must circulate to bring abundance. When you give with love, you keep the current flowing, and it returns stronger. When you clutch in fear, you block the flow, and stagnation follows. Honor money by letting it move freely, not as something lost but as something planted, destined to return multiplied. Love for money also means using it to create joy and uplift. When you spend with resentment, you dishonor both money and yourself. When you spend with joy, you magnify its power. Paying for a meal, paying a bill, buying a gift, these can all be acts of blessing when infused with love and respect. To say, I give thanks for the money that allows me to do this, and I bless it as it goes forth to return multiplied, is to turn every act of spending into a sacred act of creation. Money treated with honor has a way of showing up at the right time, in the right measure, through channels unexpected. It becomes a faithful servant, going ahead of you to prepare the way, smoothing paths, opening doors. This is no accident, it is the reflection of the vibration you hold toward it. When you hold it in contempt, it hides. When you hold it in reverence, it reveals itself. When you fear it, it seems scarce. When you trust and honor it, it multiplies beyond measure. Every interaction with money is an opportunity to establish this relationship. To pick up a coin from the ground and bless it, saying, I welcome you. You are a symbol of endless supply, is to open the door wider for more to come. To place bills in your wallet with order and care is to show respect, and that respect returns in increased flow. To give thanks for money already received is to honor it, and honor draws more to be honored.